Okay, hey Wayno. So let's just start off by looking at just the general setup of what you have. So first off, you open the file and you're in lathe mode. So I'm going to take that away. I'm going to turn that off, which makes this the X, and then the Z is the up and down, right? So that's the way it needs to be. Then secondly now, I'm going to look at the machine setup and the origin you have. So you've got your origin at the top of this part, and which means that's your x-axis right there. Without any further settings, this whole thing, the whole cylinder, would be looking at rotating around the x. So from here, and then it would rotate, and the cylinder would be up here. But that's not usually the way these things are set up. And the way you've got it is actually for a more advanced thing, which is you've actually then compensated for that by going into the patterns and setting the base point down into the part, which that's it. It would actually move kind of odd. That's just not really the way to do it. So really, the way you want to do that, and since you have the stock there, is the center point of a rotation on your fourth axis is going to be that center of the fourth axis, right? So let's go ahead and just let's change that real quick. Edit. I'm not going to, I'm going to pick the origin, and we can get into more about the proper way to pick stock when you're getting ready to do your thing. And I haven't totally studied all the things, but let's just leave everything set like that. So now what this means is this cylinder rotates around that center x-axis, which is the center of your stock, right? See, so that's how we're going to do it. So since I made those changes, I'm going to reselect and say OK, and then compute the toolpath, which is going to, so now you've set that the start and end rotation to be 0 and 90 degrees. So, I mean, there's going to be no negative numbers in that. And so I talked in the forum a little bit about how we could make that negative 45 to 45, and then that would produce positive and negative numbers. But I don't think that's what you're after either. I think what you're after is, here, let's just set these to 0 and recompute the toolpath. And then, so now, I think you've got a zig too, right? Let's go ahead and leave those back to boom, 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 boom. Let's just leave that at 0 and 90. Let's just try and do that, right? And so you just want to cut, say, just that area on the part, right? So let's post some code, and this is going to post out with my default post yet because I haven't really examined yours yet. And the code for this is going to A positive. It's going to climb up to 90 degrees, and then what you said it was doing is now it's just dropping down all with positive numbers though, right? Even if we change the post processor, so let me get out of that. I'm going to get my post processor up on the screen here. And let's see, so my 4-axis post processor is over here. So first thing we want to do is add, where the heck is it? Add sign to all values, right? So let's just change that to yes and save it. Save. And now we'll post again. And then we'll open it up. And then so now there's the positive, positive, positive. But when it starts going back down, you're saying you still get positive, positive, positive going back down, right? And so that's not working for your machine. So I think the actual change that you're looking for is line 440, which is how it outputs the rotary output type. And by default, it's going to output signed continuous. And if you change it to signed absolute, Let's just change that to 1. So far this is going to be without me making any changes to your file except for changing the origin, right? Everything else is still how you set it. And now let's post that and see what the code comes out like, right? So now it starts off at 2a plus 2. Oh, looks like I have to, darn it. Okay, let me make one more change really quick because I asked it to be signed, so I don't need it to be outputting that sign all the time, right? It's just that other setting is going to do that. Let me close this again. Darn it. So repost. Okay, so now I should just have single plus or minus value. So it starts at +2, 4, blah, 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 goes to pluses, and then down here now, it's going to start going down with the negative numbers back as it moves back down to the smaller one. Then it'll get down to that 2, and then it'll change back to positive numbers again after it gets back to there as it goes back and forth. So that's the change you want. It's not about setting the first thing I told you, which was forcing that minus and a, but all that was doing was just reconfiguring the same incorrect thing you had before. So really what you want to do is change line 440 in your post, and I haven't got into your post yet, but we'll do that next. 440 right here, the output rotary type to signed absolute number 1, and that gets that. So now let's go ahead and switch to your post and see what we get out of that right there. So the post I got from you on the zone is that one. Let's post that and see what we're getting. This is the first time I've done this, so okay, so your A rotation value is 2. Okay, so no signed, right? It goes up and back down. So now I'm going to open up your post, which is this one here, and we'll go down to line 440. The output type 2, let's change that to 1. And now let's repost it. Edit. And so now you get pluses as it climbs up, and then it gets to the 90 degrees you set it at, 90, and then it's going to flip, and then now what you're going to get is negative 80 as it climbs back down, which is what I gathered you were asking for in the zone. Now I haven't backplotted this. I don't know if anything about this code being what you want or what you don't want. All I know is as it's climbing it's positive, and as it's going down it's negative, which is what you said the fadal wanted. So if that's the setting you want and that's the code you like, so in other words, the first thing you can try is just going to your post processor, making that one change on line 440 and posting the code. If that's what you want, then let's get into the next thing we should move into is this part, which was the setup. You don't, setting it up here and then making all those other changes is a whole complete different animal. We want to start you off with setting your rotary axis at the center of your part, which is what your part's going to rotate around on, and just leaving all that other stuff alone. If you're unsure of how to do that, then I can, you could post a file with absolutely nothing in it, and I could make a quick video to show you how I would do that. After that, then, after we get this one squared away, which is basically the post that you can go, hopefully you're going to say, that's the code I need, and then we'll go, okay, that's out of the way. Then we can get into how to make a wrapping group and do text and stuff like that. All right? So that's what I got for now. Let me know what this looks like to you. Okay, bye.